Goals. Who has them, and why do we need them as business owners? I don't know. 2020 goals are out the window, man.
Ain't that the truth? Yeah. If you had some goals going into this year or at the beginning of this year, they might be different now.
They are squashed right now, and reset button for sure.
The goal is just to make it to 2021 at this point.
The goal is to not end in 2020.
Get through the month. Get me to July.
So how are we getting there? How do you make a plan to get there?
Well, it really depends. Like, do you want to talk business goals or personal goals?
Let's say business. I think the more challenging question is business goals in today's climate.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you're a business owner and you're trying to evaluate current goals that you have or try and come up with some new goals, I've seen a couple different methods, but I always like reverse engineering from what you want your perfect day to be like, or what you want your lifestyle to look like. And I think Chris Cooper from Two Brains talked about this. I know I've read it in multiple places, but I think you got to start with the end in mind is one way of doing it. And you kind of just work backwards from there. So like, how much money does your business need to generate in order to support the lifestyle that you want? That's a good starting place for you to develop more specific goals. Would you guys agree or what?
Yeah, 100%. I actually, when I had the gym, I worked with Cooper, and that was one of the exercises we did was reverse engineering. Like, so plan out, like, what do you want to do this year? What do you want to buy? How many vacations do you want to take? And then
oh man, you're on your beats again.
Plans, your personal things you want to accomplish. And then after that,
cut out.
Did I cut out?
Right.
Yeah, you cut out.
You're back now. You're good now.
The coffee shop you're at has bad service, so.
Man. That's Push Press HQ.
Exactly. It's closed down.
So reverse engineer your perfect day.
Yep.
Perfect. Is it perfect day? Perfect what?
Perfect day.
Reverse
perfect.
engineer.
Yeah.
What you want. Your perfect day.
So those
your
are like
lifestyle.
Those are like macro goals, right? So that's all over the course of the year. I'm kind of a firm believer in kind of setting the micro goals and like quarters. And so like, hey, where do we want to get in this specific time frame? Like, okay, how are we going to get there? So you guys break it down as a whole year. I've always kind of stayed within like kind of a 3-month realm.
Yep. Well,
and
so
that makes sense.
The exercise that we did with Cooper, where we reverse engineered TJs, you would do that. It was like, okay, I'm going to take a vacation in July. So then you would reverse engineer, what are your quarterly goals leading up to July for you to be able to pay for that vacation?
Okay, makes sense.
Like, 1 year I want to buy a new truck. So what did I have to do with the business to be able to afford that truck? And then we
how much of this can we plan out, knowing that business can get shut down, someone can get COVID, and you might be pressured into shutting down operations. There's so many things now that weren't part of the discussion 6 months ago that can directly derail what your goals are.
Right.
Yeah.
And how do you incorporate that into a plan? Do we bring it down to the really micro plans?
You don't. Well, so here's the thing. That's one of the defining characteristics of leading a business, being a CEO or being an owner, is developing a plan. And then when the circumstances or the scenario changes, reevaluating and adjusting the plan. In this case, for a lot of gyms, it was taking the current plan that you were on track to work towards and throwing it completely out the window and coming up with a new plan. The issue is that a lot of people emotionally and psychologically don't have the ability to deal with that, right? They don't have the skills to cope with that. And two, they don't have, so the mindset. And two is they maybe didn't have a plan to begin with. And a lot of people might look at that and be like, oh, well, that's a little bit more advantageous. It's not if you're in waters or if you're in a scenario that you're completely completely inexperienced with. So as a business owner, if you didn't have a plan, but you didn't feel like you needed one, it was probably because you felt comfortable with the scenario, the situation that you're in, to make decisions on the fly, or things were just happening well to begin with. If you, and now this new scenario with the pandemic and all this other stuff, it's thrown at you and you're like, holy crap, I don't know how to react in this. I don't even know how to create a plan to react to this. Now you're double screwed. So
That's
it really comes down to one, recognizing the scenario, evaluating the scenario, and then from there, making some objective measurements of where you can actually go. So I like TJ's thing where he was talking about micro goals and quarterly goals, but it really comes down to doing both the macro and the micro. You have to, the macro level, the high level goals should be your guiding light, right? They should be like the general direction that the cruise liner is going in. The ship is going south, right? And then we're going to bring it back down to one further or one more level of magnification, be like, okay, our general direction is south, but we need to be this heading, right? And then it's like, here's the actual route that we're going to take there. So the goals, in my opinion, I think you should be choosing operational goals, service-based goals, financial goals. There are many different types of goals according to the department of the business that you want to focus on. But it all starts with like, hey, this is our mission statement. These are our core values. This is where the ship needs to head. Start there. Yeah.
I like it.
That was a tangent. That was a rant. Sorry.
No, preach. So we've identified the importance of making sure you have those guiding light goals because it allows you to recenter and continually just refocus to make sure you are on a path regardless of what life, government, the economy throws at you. You can make the adjustments in relation to what the overall goal was.